Look at that. It doesn't get any better than that. Hitting it right up at 11 o'clock. Hitting it right up to 11 o'clock. I used some Creative Commons there so that it wouldn't, I wouldn't get a copyright claim against me, but maybe we'll wing it next time and play some good music and they can mute it out from the video on demand. But today we've got quite the agenda to go with here. I'm going to be working on some of my own projects that I've been neglecting for about 3 months now while I've been busy. So we're going to take a look at the cybr-cli and see what maintenance tasks we need to do, maybe even release something new, because there is a new feature that I was made aware of on overnight actually, and we can take a look at the feature preview here and see that they did GitHub released a UI refresh to their releases section. And from what I was reading, it basically also includes the ability to auto-generate some release notes. So we're going to give that a shot today. I know that Snick has been finding some vulnerabilities in some of the libraries that I use in Go for the cybr-cli, but I've also got conceal out there that I haven't checked on in quite a while that we'll check on as well. And then if we have time, I need to get the cybr-cli test pipeline in Jenkins set up and pulling secrets from CyberArk's Conjur. So we're going to take a look at that and see if maybe we can't work out a situation there, get a successful pipeline deployed, and start doing tests and stuff outside of GitHub Actions where it's being done today, and move it into Jenkins into my own lab. So we're going to take a look at all this today. Feel free to talk to me in chat. I am monitoring chat. If I happen to run into any hiccups or speed bumps or anything like that, feel free to help out in chat. I'll be monitoring it. I'm relatively new to Go still. I don't think I'll ever feel comfortable with Go, but you know, I figure I need to have something that I'm passionate about in order to learn a particular programming language. And so by having the cybr-cli and conceal out there that I really enjoy using and I use on a daily basis, it kind of keeps me going in Go. So also thank you to Dr. K Gem for the follow before we went live here. I appreciate that. Don't forget to follow. You will get notified when I do go live, and you won't have to keep up on Twitter or wait for me to send you a link letting you know. You'll get an email when I go live, even if it's out of band. So I'm going to try and do this on Tuesdays going forward to work on some CyberArk specific open source projects that I have. And then maybe we'll have a weekend session here and there, just randomly to work on some personal projects, some home automation and things like that as well. So for today, let's bump over to the cybr-cli repository and see what we got going on. I haven't decided if I want to use VS Code in my the FAT client here, which is how I typically do work. I'll bring everything down locally, do all of my work in VS Code, and then go ahead and commit that to the remote repository. But there's a new feature that GitHub came out with, which I'm really enjoying, and it's an embedded VS Code. Basically redirects you to github.dev, and we can go ahead and give that a shot for this right now. Basically, if I wanted to take readme.md, for example, and I want to make edits to this, what we used to have to do is click the pencil over here to edit the file just in the website. But now I can press period on my keyboard, and it'll redirect me to github.dev, but the same path, and it opens up a web editor, which is just VS Code with my settings synced from the from my local VS Code, because I'm synchronizing all of my settings into the cloud. And so you can see I have some conflicts in settings because I've been doing some things. So I'll replace the remote so that my local settings now take control of everything that I do here. And I can just use VS Code in the browser. And then when I want to go back and view it, just change dev to .com. And I'm back looking at the README, and I can check out my modifications and everything. When you commit through Git in that web editor, though, you have to be very careful, because in the local version of VS Code, you'll commit and then you need to push before the changes are pushed out to the remote repository. Because we're using the web editor here, any changes that I make will be reflected in the source control section of VS Code. However, anytime that I do make a commit, it's committed directly to the main branch or whatever branch you're working on. It gives you a nice little warning here, but you know, unless you're sometimes you can forget which type of, whether you're in the fat client or the SaaS based version, and just go in quickly to try and update a change that was breaking, and you may miss this and not understand that you can't reverse that back. You have to go through a lot more processes to do that. So if you do go this route, just keep that in mind. But I should have some pull requests, I think, here for SNCC. Yeah, so we've got a security upgrade for Golang. And I need to get this checking. So let me see what the push is complaining about here. I think that this was complaining about, yeah, so basically what ended up happening here over the weekend, my client certificates for client certificate authentication to the central credential provider. Oh, shoot. Thank you, Aflow, for letting me know that I'm not even doing the right thing here and I'm just talking out on my screen. There we go. So this is what I'm trying to show you. So I guess I should probably go back over that stuff, but we'll see it on the fly when I'm making edits. But basically what I'm looking at here is a GitHub action that ran, and it had failed at one point, but it looks like this one was okay. I was able to get my tests done. Basically, my client certificate expired over the weekend. I had to update them, which means that if I'm doing GitHub actions here, I need to update the values in the secret setting of this repository. So if we take a look at what secrets I'm using, here's my client cert, my client private key for authentication to the CCP. So when we're doing our tests in Go, that's one of the steps. So that's why that action was failing. It's not actually failing anymore. We could probably rerun this so that it can pass. But let's go ahead to details here. And so this is where it broke. It's basically complaining about 403 forbidden because nothing was really right at the time. But all this has been fixed, so I should be able to rerun this step somehow. Maybe I got to go up to here and then rerun everything. There. And then here. Nope, no rerunning. So we're gonna ignore this because the last time that I ran this, it was successful. So I'm going to create a branch for this. I don't want to push it right onto main. So I'm going to create it looks like it did create a branch and it was already loaded. Let's see if we can just get this to properly work for the Docker file. So there's a way that I should be able to rerun all jobs and actions. And I was doing it last night, and I remember it's in one of these little ellipses here. And I don't know if I need to go up to the top of the job. Thank you for the follow. J Stretches, Grexev, I guess that's how you say that name, or G-Rex. Appreciate that follow. So we have some in the summary up here, but it doesn't have a way of restarting this. Maybe I can restart from lint. Nope. Yeah, it doesn't matter at the end of the day. So we're just going to go ahead and merge this. If this was something that I was collaborating with other people on, I would be a little bit more crazy about this, but I just kind of want to get this merged in. Yeah, squash and merge. It built the binaries successfully. So the pull request is passing. It's just the push that that initially tested that's failing. And that's just because of that CCP issue, plus my self-hosted runner that I use because it needs to connect to my internal lab was broken. I had to reinstall. It was a whole mess this past weekend that I had to clean up. So we're just going to go ahead and squash and merge this. Let me make sure where it's going into. So we're going from the branch into main. I kind of want these tests to run again. So I'm going to create a branch outside of off of main. So we're going to take all of the source code from main and we're going to create a new branch. We're going to call this one, our last release was 0.13 beta. We're going to call this one 0.1.4 beta. I don't want to make a GA. We'll create that branch and it'll just take and clone a copy of all of our source code from main. And this way we don't affect the release process of the main branch because there are GitHub actions that anytime I push code to the main branch, it will then deploy containers, it'll deploy releases, and all of this automation kicks off that we want to kind of avoid. So I'm gonna make the merge onto here for the PR. So if we go back into the PR, You guys are going to learn a lot about Git. I love using GitHub, Git, and doing things properly. So if you guys are struggling to understand this, feel free to ask questions in the chat, and I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability while trying to explain it like everyone's five at the same time as I'm going through this. So it's right now merging into main. So we want to edit this PR, and that'll allow us to change the base branch to a different one, and we'll select our 014 beta. And so now the changes, when I squash and merge this, it'll go from this branch into here, and it'll make changes. And so this branch will no longer be even with our main branch, is what that means. Just an easy way of being able to separate all of our changes so that we can go and take a look at everything. It really is good when you're collaborating with multiple developers, because you can each work on your own branch and stay out of the way of each other. And then when you're ready to come together, it'll check and make sure that everything it matches up. And if there's any conflicts, you can then pick which developer's code you want to utilize from there. It'll give you the option. So yeah, we know some checks weren't successful. That's fine. We're going into v014 beta. We'll squash and merge this. When we squash and merge it, it's going to bring everything into one single commit and then put it onto this base branch here. And every commit that's included, you can see we have multiple vulnerabilities that SNCC is trying to resolve here. It's just all smashed into this one commit. Confirm, squash, and merge. So that'll go over. We'll delete the branch. We don't need any more SNCC fixes. It's now in the beta branch here. So we can bump over to this branch now. If we go back to the code and we're on the main branch, we can see the last thing that happened on the main branch was the release of the beta. We also see that we had a push to this branch just less than a minute ago. So we can go over to that branch and then see that it is one commit ahead of main. And that's because we added fixes here from the SNCC bot that runs and checks for vulnerabilities on my projects. So there might be an action going off for this. It doesn't look like there is, which is fine. So we'll start that as a new release here for this. Let me just double check and see if there's any new issues that were added on that I don't know about that maybe we might need to address. I think I might just release 014 as a security update, unless there's something new here. Customer, Jody, you can contribute these. It'd be a good way to learn Go if you happen to be on this. If you happen to be watching the stream, you can. These seem pretty easy, and you have the predefined ACLs. You've already defined them yourself. Looks like James Creamer's got one here from the PPO. That's a pretty cool one, actually. I should probably prioritize that a little bit higher. What's this one? Cyber users activation. Add the ability to activate PAS users using the cybr-cli, not unsuspend. Yeah, right now we can only unsuspend a user. Activate a user, though, that would mean... So unsuspending would be clearing out the violations. Like if they hit 5 violations, the account locks out, it suspends, and you have to go and clear those violations. Activate an inactive user. Okay. Okay, so the API doesn't support it yet. That's something we would need supported by the API before we could handle it. That's an action that we would do in the private art client, and there's no real way outside of using cybr-cli to be able to communicate directly with the vault to do that action. And I am not touching cybr-cli. That's a dangerous weapon to wield if you don't know how to wield it, and so I avoid cybr-cli at all costs if I can. Okay, thanks, Andrew. Andrew Copeland to the rescue. So that's why it is backlogged. Good. We'll keep it that way. Human readable return. That seems something. That's probably something that would be pretty easy to do, just like a table format, like the AWS CLI. Maybe we can wake up Andrew and get him to do this. I doubt it. He's busy on vacation still. So it looks good to me. We can compare and pull request this. And that will fix this. What's the issue number though? Oh, okay, the issue number is in there already, so that'll work out if we compare and pull request. This is the keyword here, fix, that will auto close issues. And because we give the issue number here, number 120, the issue that Snyk created for this, which I don't even see the issue out there anymore from Snyk. Maybe it was closed when I merged it into the beta branch here. Snyk. Oh, it didn't create any issues. That's kind of odd. Maybe it's a security issue. Let's see. Interesting. Okay. Whatever. There's no issues to close out. That's weird. I'm not going to make one. So we'll compare and pull request. It lists out all of the vulnerabilities it's fixing. Assign myself. Call this an enhancement, whatever. And no reviewers because it's just me here. Everything seems able to merge. Let's go ahead and just create the pull request. Actually, no, let's not yet, because there are a couple things extra that we need to do. So anytime that I have a new release coming out, I have to update the version number in a couple places. I believe it's been a minute since I've been here. Obviously, I haven't been maintaining it very well, but we need to edit the release.json file. So I just pressed period when I was talking earlier, and you only saw my pretty face and not my actual desktop. I hit period, and this just redirects you from github.com to github.dev, and it opens up this web editor, and it brings over all of my settings from the local VS Code client and stuff. It's really snazzy if you're just trying to edit a file real quick on the fly. So we're going to increase the version in the release.json to 0.14. The README, I believe, has the version somewhere. I should probably automate all this too, but I'm being lazy today, which ends up making me do more work. So I don't know how that's lazy, but I don't see it here. All right, so I guess I took it out of the README, which was a good idea because that's just something else I need to update. And then under command, we have version.go. I don't know if it's here or, yeah, it must be under my package directory then. cybr version.go. Here is where we would also update it. So 4. And this is used when we, by the command line. So when you do the command cybr version, it will parrot back the version number that's listed in this Go file here. So that's the whole intent of this. I think those are the only two places that we need to update that at. I can't think of where else we would need to do that from. Not Docker file, no, not anywhere inside of any more packages. We typically would regenerate documentation, but I hate doing that because then we it changes everything in documentation, and we're not really doing any major changes. It would just be the version. Maybe I'll just manually update the version. Oh well, it doesn't even give you the version in there, so we don't need to update any documentation. We should be good with those two files. No, nothing there. Bin is where my binaries are. All right, we're good. So we'll go ahead and we'll say updated version to v0.14 beta. And then that'll go bloop right onto main, which is exactly what I didn't want to do. So I just demonstrated for you exactly what I was talking about earlier when I said you'll be in a hurry and you'll miss this little note here of where you're committing it. So make sure you're on the right branch. And I totally just committed it to main, which is fine. So we'll just go ahead and merge the PR. This is the bonus to having your own projects out there. Everybody makes mistakes. I'm human, right? Everybody's human. So nobody's going to get hurt over this. We can go ahead and just create the pull request now to merge onto main. And it will go through. All right, maybe there's some tests. Let me see if there's some tests that kick off here. I don't know if I have actions that do it on PR. I guess not, nothing. Maybe no code QL or anything. Come on, code QL. You need to step it up. Oh, it's disabled. see if maybe doing that kicks something off here. Okay, so Sonar Cloud picked it up at least. Thank you, Sonar Cloud. And we can click here to see the Sonar Cloud information. So no issues. Nothing. Yeah, just a 0.8% increase. Everything passed, so no security hotspots. So we're good there. Let's go back to the project. And here's our PR. Everything's ready. Squash and merge into main. We'll do that. Confirm that. And then we can now we'll delete this branch too. We don't need it anymore. We're gonna do a release. And I think that I do have a couple other branches too that I can delete. Let me give that a shot. Yeah, Mr. Heartstomper, if you want to submit a new issue for anything, there is a template already created for you. If you click on new issue on the repository, you can get started with a feature request. Just fill out the questions, and it's as easy as that. I'll take a look at it and see if it works out. We were working on some 2FA before that was contributed, but we were having issues with getting it to work out. You can review that PR for all of the notes, the conversations back and forth. May help you if you wanted to contribute yourself, or if you were just hoping that I do it, or someone that contributes to this does it, then that's fine too. Just put the issue out there. So we're looking at the main branch now. It has this merged, and it should be running actions on this at least. Man, it's not really running any actions. This is worrying me. Let me take a look at my GitHub Actions real quick. My file. It's in this .github directory, workflows, and then CI. So on pull request to main, it should have kicked off, and it didn't. So what the heck is going on? It'll ignore push, but we did have a PR in the form of the SNCC fixes. So when we push the version updates, that's fine. But I'm wondering why the actions aren't. Well, this is why we're moving to Jenkins, so forget about it. It doesn't matter anymore. We'll be running these tests through Jenkins anyways. So back here, I need to cut a release. Oh, now we've got a check mark like it did somehow. Just Sonar Cloud again. Maybe there's an issue with the self-hosted runner. I don't know. Let's see. Actions, allow all actions. Require approval for first-time contributors. Okay. Read and write. Runners. Oh, I know why. I think I know why. Actually, I don't know why. Anyways, moving on. All right, let's cut a release. So what I like to do first is just draft a release. And we can do that here. I'm going to copy this just to be on the safe side, but I'm hoping to auto-generate release notes this time around, because that seems to be a new feature that GitHub says exists. So we'll see. So we'll draft a new release. We'll choose our tag, which is going to be v014 beta. And we'll create that tag. Our target will be from main. Our release title will be v014 beta. Oh, there's the button, auto generate release notes. So this is new. This just happened overnight from GitHub, where instead of having to manually create your release notes and stuff, where this is where I'd basically split the screen, and I would have this over here, a second window over here that is the PR or PRs that accumulated into this release, and I would go through and basically list out manually every single little thing that we did that was relevant. Apparently now I can just auto-generate by clicking this. So select a valid tag to automatically add the markdown for all of them. Does this work? Okay, so this we don't want. This we don't want. These two we don't need. This one we do. This is actually what we did. And we can keep the full change log there. That's fine. So to preview it, that's what it'll look like. It actually looks pretty good, and I didn't have to do any of it, which makes it even better. And so we can do that. Now, the only other thing that I need to do is I like to create the binaries myself and upload them. And then there is a GitHub action that will then package them into like tar gz compressed files and then add them automatically as well once that GitHub action runs. The reason that I like to provide just the executable that I build for each operating system and architecture on here is because the next step after the release is updating my homebrew repository. I have a homebrew tap. So if you happen to be running on Mac OS, like Jody Hunt, who does a lot of great work with CyberArk, CyberArk's Conjur, they just want to brew update, brew update, and then cybr-cli in order to be able to just get up to the next version. And so it makes it a lot easier than having to go out to GitHub, download the release, export it, move it to something that's in the path so it's executable and all this other jazz. So we're going to just save this draft for right now, and then I'm going to head over to where I keep all of my Go projects locally in my Go path. So GitHub, me, cybr-cli. And so from here, I'm going to check out main. I don't really care about main. I don't care what's going on. What is this going on? Did I stash something? All right, so I don't care about that. Git restore secrets, not YAML. So that's good. It looks like I have something stashed though. Let's git pop it, right? Or is it stash pop? Git stash pop. Okay, so it's the old binaries that we're about to rebuild. So I'm going to remove those like this. Yes, I do. So all of those now should be out of the bin. Yes. All right, and so we're going to git pool. This will bring down our v014 beta branch that was committed to main. So we have all of our changes here. The Docker file is updated because of the snick fix, version.go and release.json. You watched me do this. So we're now, if we do a git status to see what is going on, it's just complaining that I deleted the binaries, but we're just going to remake them right now. So I have a couple of files here, make and install. So the make here is what I'm going to use. If we take a look at that file, it's going to echo out some status, and then it's going to use go build in order to build the binaries back into that bin directory. And each one of them is different. We've got Linux, Darwin, Windows, AMD for most, but ARM64 for Darwin, so that we can support the Apple M1 chip now. So we're going to go ahead and just run make, and that should do it automatically for us there, and then we can upload them to the release. So this is a quick and easy way for me to build, to compile binaries for every operating system, every architecture. I mean, there's so many more out there than what I'm just doing. I'm just taking the most common ones. But this is the real power behind Go, is being able to sit on a MacBook here and create binaries for all of these different architectures and OSs where, maybe in the past I had to, well, I know for Python, for example, right? I need to do it from Windows for it to be an executable for Windows. I need to do it from Linux for it to be executable for Linux. So you're bouncing from VMs, or you're using Vagrant to bring up VMs, or whatever the case may be. Using pipelines, with Jenkins and different runners for each OS, or GitHub Actions to do that. We don't have to do that here with Go, because it can all be done from one operating system. So the power of Go. So it's finished making it. If we list out the bin now, we can see they're all there. And let's see if it's still complaining. That's fine. I don't care. I'm not going to commit that anyways quite yet. Actually, let's commit it before we release so that they release with it. So we'll do, because these new built binaries, because I updated the version, are going to have the new version in them when you do cybr version. So I'll go ahead and I'll just commit these. So we'll do git commit. I sign all of my commits. So it uses my PGP information in order to sign the commit. So if you go into looking at the commits and stuff, I saved this as a draft, so it's fine. We can come back to it in a minute. But if you go and you take a look at my commit history here, you'll be able to see that, you know, next to my name and stuff, it used to say something like trusted. Oh, verified, sorry, it's over here. So anytime you see this verified badge, it means that, you know, we signed it with something that GitHub trusts, and it can verify that it was actually us doing it. Now, here, where I updated version to 0.14 beta, remember I loaded this up in the web editor for GitHub because my PGP information doesn't expand into that web editor. It's not verified. It doesn't know if it was necessarily me or not because that information wasn't provided. The commit wasn't signed. But then when I did it here, it was considered verified. Anywho. We're going to sign it with the message, you know, compiled binaries for v014 beta. And that, oh, I got to git add it first. What am I doing? So control C that, git add dot. That'll add all of that. Now we can do the commit signature. I use Krypton. So crypt.co for that, and it will, that's where my PGP is stored. And so it basically just sent to my watch. It asks me if I want to approve this, and I say, yes, I will allow that to happen. So that's how my signature is then given to the commit. When I SSH to different hosts as well, I have an SSH key pair with it. So it essentially applies MFA push notifications to my SSH connection. So I don't need to use a password or anything. I'm just using no password to connect. It's pushing a notification to me either through my phone or my watch, and then I approve that, and that's my entrance into it. So the private key, Rob, is that the private key for that is held in Krypton. So you basically do a kr command here, and you can see all of the different commands. For AWS, I loaded up the key pair here. I don't have access to the private key. So I can't actually see the private key. I can copy the public key if I need to use it for anything. But as far as pushing, you know, the private key information and stuff like that, it's the command called kr-add, and then you give the server name. So I would do like Ubuntu at AWS EC2 instance, whatever, you know, that IP address or public DNS is, and then that will go ahead and connect to the server and take care of all of those tasks so that it's all just invisible to me. It'll load up the public cert into authorized keys and things like that. Krypton itself holds the private key. I don't have the private key at all. I would need to basically like reinitiate a pair in order to regenerate a private key if for whatever reason this broke or it became an issue. But we've got it committed. Now we need to push it. So git push, and we're going to push it to origin main. So this is going to push it out to GitHub on the main branch. And because it's a push, it shouldn't kick off any GitHub actions. And so we'll be able to just upload these binaries then to the release and cut the release. I'm gonna allow you, Rob, because you're being auto-modded, but
that's really nice.
Alexa, shut up. So let's see what you said that it didn't like. Okay. I can't see it, I guess. It still doesn't let you send it, but you're not auto-modded anymore, man. So you can talk to your heart's content. Just watch the sex terms like the auto-mod said. Whatever it thought you were saying. All right, so that's out there. We should be able to see it now updated on our main branch. Yep, compiled binaries. That's the message that I gave it. Oh, okay, so I did see the message. It was just blocked from, I guess, you seeing it or everyone else seeing it. Quit saying private then, Rob, if it thinks it's a dirty word. So we've got that. Let's go to our releases. We'll see the draft, even though, you know, nobody else can see it. Only I can see it. And we can come here and edit it. We'll go ahead at the bottom and attach our binaries. We'll go ahead and browse for that. And I keep them in here in the bin. We've got all our binaries here. Actually, this one I need to change the name of. So we're going to change it for the sake of this to, oh crap. I hit enter because it's supposed to let me rename things, except for when you're in an open dialog box. So we'll delete that. Actually, no, you know what? We'll just upload it all and I'll change the name once it's uploaded. So all these are going to get uploaded, and then it'll the GitHub action will add on the packages and stuff too. But these are also here for people if they want to just direct download it. This one I need to change the name of because Homebrew will look for this binary name, not the one with Darwin preceding it. So create a discussion for this release. That's a new one. I guess I'll do that, and we'll put it in Q&A in case anybody has any. Well, no, this is just a security update. Let me add that up here. Here, there we go. Publish release. Got all 4 there. Boom, bing, bam, done. So there we go. We published the release. So now on our code main page, we can see we have a release here. Let's see if any actions kicked off. Yep. So we've got a couple actions that are going to go ahead and happen here. We should have a release binary kickoff too eventually, but we'll let that just kind of percolate. While that's happening, I'm going to switch over to Homebrew and take care of things there. So this is in Git me Homebrew. Do I even, oh, I think I just update it in the web editor. Let's do that. It's been a minute since I've done this part. So we'll go to Homebrew -tap, boom. And so here is my Homebrew tab. It is installed by using this command here, brew-tap infamous joe-g /tap, and then you can install conceal, you can install cybr-cli. Those are the 2 that I host right now. And what we need to do is we need to update this Ruby file here to point to my new release. So we need to make a couple changes here. So what I'm going to do is open this up in the web editor by hitting period again. And we're going to first change the URL. So this release is 014. And then the other piece that we need to take care of is this SHA-256 here. And the way that we get that is by actually installing it ourselves. So what I need to do is I need to do a brew edit command. And I think it's brew edit. And I'm going to push up because I'm in iTerm 2 and it'll go up into my history. Okay, I did call it cybr-cli. So by doing this, it'll open up my local Ruby file, which should match this one here. Oh, wait. Oh, there we go. Okay, it's opening it up in VS Code. So we have our new URL here. You'll notice there is no SHA-256 fingerprint here. And that's because this is my local formula. And when I update this and save it, I don't need to push it anywhere or anything like that. When I do a brew install, let me brew uninstall, just in case it's already installed cybr-cli. This will remove the old version. We don't want that old version. So it was installed, it's uninstalled now. Now if we do a brew install cybr-cli, it's going to look in my local formula and it's going to reach out to this URL and it's going to download the release from there, which you can see it ends at just cybr. This SHA-256 here that we have wasn't in my local file. So it's going to say, hey, I can't validate or trust this. I don't know what the SHA-256 should match up to. So here's what it was. And then we can take that out to here and update it. So we're going to be updating this one. So back over here, I'm going to brew install cybr-cli. It'll reach out, it'll grab 014, install it locally for me using brew. I guess after it updates, it needs to update homebrew. So it's going to go through a bunch of stuff here. So here we go. That is not it. Is it? Yeah, it is. Okay, so it's cybr-cli. Here's my SHA-256. So it says, for your reference, the checksum is this. So all I got to do is just copy this and update this. Okay, and that's it. So now I can come out here. I can updated for v014 beta. Commit that directly onto master. And that should be good. We can go back to GitHub by just changing dev to com. And so now where this is still working, once it ends, I'm going to then delete and then re-homebrew to see if that changes anything there. It should just trust the SHA-256 at that point. Okay. I wonder if there's a way that I can do it somewhere else. Yeah, actually, let's SSH over to, what do I got out there? We'll go to my DApp server. So see, Krypton comes in and is like, hey, wait a minute, you want to SSH into this bad boy? Well, I need you to check on your phone or your watch. So I'm going to allow this host on my watch, and there we go. So cool, here we are. All right, so I can, wait, I can't brew on Linux. What am I thinking? This is a neat point. Jody Hunt, calling Jody Hunt. No, I'll have Jody test it out separately later. But that should work. Everything will be good. So homebrew, or just brew, tap infamous Joe G /tap, and then you would brew install cybr-cli from there. Or you could just do straight away brew install infamous Joe G tap cybr-cli, and that'll get you it installed right away. Cool. That's taken us what, 45 minutes so far just to do this maintenance task. So tap is updated, release is done. I'll send an announcement out to Twitter later about that, just security updates so that people know to update it. Post that on LinkedIn too. And as far as this project is concerned, I think we're good now. We've got our release out here. So if you guys have any features you want to request added on to the cybr-cli, right now we support the following: cyber H. We have accounts, applications, CCP actions, CEM, Cloud Entitlements Manager actions, completion command for adding the autocomplete to your ZSH or bash RC, Conjur actions, just some general PaaS REST API stuff, safes users, log on, log off, things like that. So go through these, and you can also check out the documentation in the docs directory here. And in docs, all of the docs are here for everything. So if you wanted to see what's supported for Conjur, you just click here, and it'll tell you everything that is supported and a brief little description of it. And you could be like, enable authenticator. That seems pretty easy. That's pretty cool. So we can enable authenticators straight from the CLI here for authn IAM, prod. That would be the service ID. So rather than having to connect to the Conjur leader or something like that in order to handle this, you can just use the cybr-cli, and we'll be able to enable the authenticator for you. So some cool stuff out there for you to check out. Definitely go through, see if there's anything that's missing that you may want, and we can add it in there. Or I can add it in there. If anybody else wants to contribute, we've got Quincy Chang from APJ. That helps out. He helped out with the CEM, the Cloud Entitlements Manager portion of the cybr-cli. Andrew Copeland, who unfortunately is no longer with us, he contributed a lot of this, a lot of the Conjur portions, and then myself. So, come on in and start contributing. Definitely don't need to work for CyberArk to contribute, but you do need to know Go. So I guess that's the one downside. But it's always good to know Go. All right, so done with this. Let me ring my bell here to see if I have any notifications. I do. It's just the PR that we merged, so I'm going to go ahead and clear that out. I don't have anything else like pending or waiting for me here. And so I'm going to bump over now to conceal. Let's go to conceal. Well, it doesn't just auto-populate, so let's see if conceal has anything wrong with it. I haven't looked at conceal in a while. Conceal is pretty cool. That's another Go app that I created that allows you to use your local OS credential manager in order to save secrets. So imagine you're a developer and you don't necessarily get access to Conjur or PAS or get your CCP information right off the bat when your fingers start to code something, but you still have the understanding that I need to do something with my secrets because I don't want them leaking out to source control management as I'm making commits, or I don't want them leaking out to Stack Overflow as I'm asking questions because I don't have, my buddy next to me anymore. I'm working from home. So conceal was it kind of eases that user experience. It works using keychains. The keychain package. I created a keychain package here. This works with Windows Credential Manager. It works with the OS keychain. I haven't tested it to see if it works with the Linux keyring, but I'd imagine so. I mean, it's all the same at the end of the day. And then I created a quick clipboard package here, which allows me to handle the secrets on the clipboard a little bit more elegantly and securely. So just to give you a quick example of what it does. So conceal is the command. If we take a look at help, we've got a couple commands here. We've got git to be able to get a secret. You don't necessarily need to use that command. It's there for convenience. I typically will use another open source project called Summon in order to bring those secrets to what I need. So conceal will set my secrets. Summon will retrieve and inject those secrets. Conceal luckily puts the secrets into the credential managers and keychain in a fashion that is compatible with Summon's keyring provider. So we can use Summon easily to start fetching those secrets without any changes. We can see what secrets that we have that were set by conceal, that conceal can get as well, and then you can set and unset, which is adding the secret, removing the secret. So if we were to conceal list, you can see in my keychain access, I have all of these secrets. And so I can even open up my keychain access on my Mac. And then we can see where all of these secrets are because they fall under the same name here, and it's Summon. So like I said, they're Summon compliant. But if we double click on one, we can see the account is my GitHub ID. Summon is the name. It's also the where. So this is what we're going to reference for conceal to be able to pull that value. And so what I end up doing is outside of where I need to use it, which is typically in my terminal, I can split panes and have a second terminal going next to it. And let's say I need to get my GitHub username. Copy that from conceal list. And over here, I can conceal git, give that path to the secret ID in my keychain, or it could be Windows Credential Manager. And I have to provide my administrator password because in order for conceal to be able to access the keychain, I need to step up my privileges as an administrator. I'm going to always allow it so it'll never ask me again. And so now I've got the secret value for 15 seconds. And so I can paste it, infamous Joe G, we already know that, it's not a secret. If I were to control C out and think like, haha, I walk away, no, I'm trying to paste right now using the shortcut and nothing's there. On a signal interrupt, it clears the clipboard. Otherwise, I have it on my clipboard for 15 seconds where I can use it until my heart's content. It's not being parroted to anything. Typically, you would have a password that's being input for connecting to Docker Hub or something like that. It's masked anyways from standard out. So now that it's timed out and it's cleared the clipboard, I still don't have access to that secret. So For developers, it's an easy way of handling, CLI access to or CLI authentication to different external services, being able to, utilize stay within the terminal really was the main benefit here. Obviously, it doesn't make sense to use conceal if you happen to standardize your developers on something like Conjur with the CLI itself, or cybr-cli, and you have access to the cybr-cli to do that sort of work. But sometimes it's super easy to use it locally here. So let's see if there's any maintenance tasks I need to do. The last release. Really don't need any changes to it unless these packages are changing, but I'm only using packages that I created, so nothing should change. Everything should stay the same. Let me check on no issues, no pull requests. Let me see. Let me check security. Let me set up a security policy. We'll clean up the security of this repository. Use a section to tell people about which versions of your project are currently being supported with security updates, reporting a vulnerability. So, all versions are supported. And then there we go. That should work for a security policy, and we'll commit that directly onto the master branch. It's just a policy file. And then for security, code scanning alerts, that's what we want to activate. Set up code scanning. So we'll set up code QL analysis. Push to branches, master, pull request to master. I think that we'll just keep it this way. It's going to pull. It's going to build. I don't know. It knows it's go. This seems so basic. I guess it works. I wasn't doing anything before. I do want to adjust the, what it does this on. I want it to exclude pushes though. And how do I do that? Let me go to cybr-cli, because I did do it over there. I think it's like ignore on is the keyword that I want to use. So we'll take a look at the workflows over here. So Github Workflows, CI. So it's going to be branches ignore. Branches dash ignore. And I don't like this this way of defining a collection, or an array in YAML. I like to just define them like this. It's a little bit cleaner to read. As you get more stuff, you're going to start comma delimiting things and stuff like that. So I like to do it this way. We'll keep the cron for code QL, even though I don't know what's going to change on the freaking code that we need a cron. Maybe I should unschedule that, but whatever, we'll keep it. Analyze, all right, fail fast, the language is just go, blah, 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 blah. We'll see what happens. Push, branches ignore, and then we want to add the V. I use this V star because I always like to create version branches before I push into the main or master branch, so we'll do V star. For the pull request as well, that should cover our bases, so let me just... Yep. All right, cool. Start commit. We will just commit directly. I don't feel like monkeying around with it. So we're good there. All right, cool. Actions that we have is go. Are we doing any testing? No, we're just doing build tests here. I didn't write any unit tests for it, but it's a pretty small application. It works. I don't think I need to do much else here. So that is an hour, man. We did a lot in an hour. We went through cybr-cli, we went through conceal. Let's see, now I kind of want to work on my Jenkins pipeline for cybr-cli. So we're going to switch gears a little bit here. Let's go back to cybr-cli. So I have a branch that I use specifically for my demos, and it's called Conjur demo. I'm gonna need to, I think, get this up to date somehow. And I'm trying to think of how I can do this. It's hard because I need it to match up. I may need to just take this Jenkins file here, copy it, delete the branch, and then recreate the branch. And I think that might be the easiest way to do this. Actually, let me get the raw. So I'll copy this, and then we'll delete this branch. We'll get off the branch. We'll go to, where's branches at? I thought there was like a branches. Oh, there it is. Boom. And then we'll delete the Conjur demo branch, and then we'll create a new one on top. Hey, I got some branches there I can clean up. We don't need this one anymore. It's been merged. Why won't it let me delete it though? It's weird. This is a customer, Quincy's. Fixing support was, well, that was merged, so I can get rid of that. This one's merged, I can get rid of that. I think that's good for now. Cleans it up a little bit. And so we'll make a new Conjur demo branch off of main. And so now we're up to date with it. And then we don't have our Jenkins file here, so we will add that back, create a new file, call it Jenkins file, and we'll paste. So the Jenkins file is pretty cool. I'm going to install Go. I'm going to set some environment variables here. It's going to lint, I'm going to vet, I'm going to test. It's going to use credentials from Conjur in order to test. So today's task is to change these. We're going to update these based on a new plugin that was released that uses JWT instead of a host identity embedded into Jenkins with an API key. So we get that host identity out of there. We can get these adjusted to the proper credential IDs, and we run go test. So this will run all our unit tests that we have for cybr-cli. We build out our binaries and then release those binaries to AWS S3. So I'm going to need to also update the access key and secret access key information for AWS so that we can deploy out to S3. So that's what we need to do today with this file. I'm going to go ahead though and commit it directly to the Conjur demo branch because I don't want that Jenkins file yet on my main branch. So let's see, I need to log into my PVWA to check and make sure that I have all my secrets loaded in here. I'm going to log in with CyberArk identity, which used to be adaptive SAML. I guess I could change that too, to say identity. I can do that quick actually. Configuration options. I think it's under authentication methods and options. I don't know where it is. Just going to do this. Yeah, no, go again. There we are. All right, so SAML, I'm gonna call it CyberArk identity, and then we'll get rid of the SAML on the end. There we go. So apply, so that they're applied immediately. Okay. All right. So that'll be fixed next time we log in. So I have a cybr-cli save here. Everything should be in there. So I got the PAS address, the client certificate, the client key in here. What else do I need? Let's go to our Jenkins file. The username and password is going to be, the username and password is for logging into PAS. I think that is a service account. Let me see. I think it's this service account down here that's used, which we already have access to the safe. So that's okay. We'll just get it from this safe. So the username and password we don't need. We've got our address and client certificates added in here so that we can bring in the host name, client certificate info, and then I needed AWS access keys too. And I believe that I already have that set up, but I don't know if cybr-cli has access to that though. We'll need to check the policy. So to check the policy, I got that out on good old server. I'm in the middle of refreshing my policy, so I don't want to go to it through Git because it's completely different than what I have here. So I'm going to want to nano. Oh crap, it updated it. Oh crap, it updated it. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to Docker exec into the CLI container and then cd to policy. And that's, oh no, I mapped it. All of my files, cat root. Oh no, this is not bueno. I don't know what my policy was now. I gotta go back into commit history to figure it out. Crap. Well, you guys get to learn about Git history. So Conjur policies. So this is my refresh of my policy. A lot cleaner, right? Everything is broken into different folders. I have my root file. My root policy is a lot cleaner. Just defining my main policies going off of root. So CI/CD, cloud, and projects. A lot cleaner. 30 policy loads though, huh? Holy moly. But it's okay because I documented it all, so I don't need to worry about remembering what order to do it. I've got my order defined in the README. But I do need to go back in time, so we'll click on our 30 commits here, and we'll back up a bit. So cleaned up and commented. This is where I started working on it, I believe, on the 29th. I think I want this one. I'm going to go for this one. I want to see all the files. Take me to your leader. Browse files. Boop. All right, so now I'm back in time. This is what my policy used to look like. It was not ordered into folders. It was just kind of all just peppered across the main root of the repository. And but these are also what is currently loaded into my Conjur leader. So I need to reference this to understand what I need to load. And so we're dealing with Jenkins here, but it's the new authenticator. So I'm going to need to update it in this file. In this file, I have I never defined a cybr-cli host. Let me see if maybe there's a later time where I did define that. Let me go back again. So we'll go up a bit. That was the 28th, I think. No, that was this one here. Maybe it's added cybr-cli pipeline. I think this might be the one. Actually, I will want the one on top of that. Looks like I stopped here and then added updates and stuff like that. Yeah, so this is the one I want. Browse files. What I want to see right now is what my cybr-cli host has access to, if I can decipher that. So this is my my JWT authenticator for Jenkins, where I defined the hosts initially, and then I realized, well, that's a bad idea. Maybe I should move that out. And that just I started down a rabbit hole of just changing my policy and reorganizing it, you know, like spring cleaning, but in the fall, right? So, all right, here's my cybr-cli host identity. It is granted into the consumers group. So that gives it the ability to authenticate to the web service. But I need to understand from the root policy what I granted it access to. At this point in time, I was doing all of my group grants just directly in the root policy. So it was a lot longer than the one I just showed you previously, right? So I'm trying to break away from that. I just only have these there now and instead of everything, but we're looking for okay, so cybr-cli has access right now to Windows service accounts, which includes the service cybr-cli account that we're going to use for the PAS username and host name in Jenkins. That's good. But it doesn't have access to anything else that it needs. And another problem is that, I changed my synchronizer. information from when this policy was created. So, oh man, I'm going to have to just like completely rebuild, I think. That sucks. But that's not so bad, right? I do have a new Conjur host out there that I can access here. So brand new, v12.3, recently GA. I just need to start configuring this so that I can get everything back up to date. I guess no better time than now to start loading policies, huh? Well, we've got an hour until 1. So let's do this. All right. Let's go ham on some policy, I guess. So we've got, let's make sure that we pull any changes. Oh, there were a lot. So we have this. Let me pull up the README so that I know the order that I assume it should be done in. We're going to find out. So this is about the point where I haven't loaded any of these policies yet. I haven't even tested out the policy order. I kind of just like, visually tried to list it out. There could be errors in these policy files that, I worked for a couple days on really getting them organized and stuff like that. Basically went cross-eyed. So we're gonna give it a go now and see what we can do. All right, so I'm going to need to connect to a different server though to do this. So we're gonna exit out of here. We're gonna SSH over to Conjur. Oh. Conjur.jogarcia.dev. Yeah, I gotta allow this real quick. Come on, watch. There you are. Yeah. All right. So I also have, so that's running. I don't have a CLI. Do I have the cybr-cli? Okay, so we'll just use the cybr-cli for this. Do I have my policies here? No, but I have, I don't need any of these. All right, so I don't have anything here. Git clone my GitHub repository with all my policies in it. Step into that directory. There's all of the policies, nice and pretty, right? So we're going to start, I guess, loading policies in order. Did I log in yet? Let's see. Cyber Conjur list. Okay, I did log in already too. So I'm logged in. I'm ready to go. Oh boy. Let me make sure that I have the right policy command here. Okay, so it's either append policy, update policy, or replace policy. I'm going to roll with append policy because I don't want to do any real damage. Update policy allows you to delete records if you happen to have a delete command in your policy, but it also can create as well different resources if you happen to define hosts that need to be created. Replace policy will straight up just replace the policy. So if you aren't loading the full entire policy as it's supposed to be, you will be missing definitions for hosts and groups and things like that. So be very careful when using replace. I, over the weekend, replaced my root policy and had to restore from a backup. So be careful what you do with replace policy. Append policy, though, doesn't allow you to delete. It will just add on to the current already loaded policy. So I find that one is a little bit more safe to do unless you really know what you're doing. I don't have to log on because I already have logged on and it saved my user identity information securely in the config for the cybr-cli. All right, let's start loading stuff up, I guess. So we'll do cyber conjur policy. Oh, wait, nope, append policy. Let's take a look at that command. So we're going to do -b for branch. This one's going to be root. See here, it says root. And then the file where it exists, users.yaml. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get an error on the first try, right? Oh, wait. Oh, I didn't do a -f. See? Look at that. There we go. Okay. So, oh crap, it's going to start giving me API keys. That's okay. I can rotate those. Let me go ahead and take care of something real quick though. So for now, while I'm working on this, since I'm going to be parroting across API keys that I'm eventually going to need to rotate, I need to take care of some business here. As far as my instances are concerned, I want to come here into security, and I'm going to adjust my SSH access. No, back. I want to adjust the DAP security policy. And from here, I'm going to edit. I'm going to turn everything off here. Add a rule for HTTPS for just my IP address. Save. There. Now nobody can access it while I'm working on it. Because I'm going to be, I don't want to keep having to go, you know, like this, and then I'm talking to you, but you don't see what I'm doing. I want you to kind of see the experience of loading policy, what is brought back from a response and how to handle it and things like that. I'll go ahead and rotate these API keys after the fact. You're not going to get access to my DAP instance anyways, because I just secured it only to allow access from my IP address, so have fun. Anywho, back to our awesome view here. I can pop out of EC2 and we can refresh this page and see that we have a couple users here that were added. Our 3 users, Darren, Joe, and Mark. Look at that. Shout out to Darren Kahn and Mark Herder. Awesome people. And I added cool little badges because we work at CyberArk. So little integration badges, pretty cool stuff. All right, so I'm going to save this information here. I'm going to clip this. I'm going to add it to my little snippet app that I have, Snipper app. I'm going to save that so that I can just keep track of what I need to rotate later. I'm going to keep track of that on a different screen over here. So I'll create a new, just give me a second to do this real quick. We're going to add a folder. We're going to call it Conjur. We'll call it NG, since that seems to be what we like to call new things around here. And I'll add my configuration or my identity information here. And then I'm just going to start pasting the JSON snippets. There we go. All right, so that's done. First version of our root policy. First time I've loaded into root on this new instance. So we're good there. Next up from the README is our groups. So we need to do the same command, but we're going to change this to groups. What is going on? Let's see. Context deadline exceeded. Failed to load. This is a cybr-cli issue. Cyber Conjur list, maybe? Did we have an authentication issue here? Oh. What is going on here? Oh, I know. I need to allow this external IP address access through the security group as well. So that's what happened. I locked everyone out but me, but I'm not running cybr-cli locally. I'm running it inside of the host. So let me go ahead and allow that IP address as well. So yeah, at least the security groups were working in AWS today. So we'll go and we'll grab the IP address of itself, since that's where we're using the cyber, but we're connecting externally. So I need the public IP address. And then we can go to security, tap, and we'll add another inbound rule for HTTPS. And then that will be just itself. Boom, save. And now we should be able to conjure list. There we go. So we see our users, we see our policy, and now we can append groups onto that root policy. Didn't define any identities, whether they're user or host, so no API keys are returned here. The groups are created though, so we should be able to see that reflected in Conjur by going to groups. There's our 2 groups. We've got admins and auditors. We can take a look at the members. As far as admins are concerned, looks like we don't have any memberships yet, which is fine because that's a separate grants file that we haven't loaded yet. And the way that we create a Conjur admins group is by allowing it to be a member of the admin user, the initial admin user that's created when you first deploy Conjur. So that seems to be all good. Our other group is just an auditors group. So this group will get read-only access to different secrets and stuff like that. So I can add auditors into here. They can see that secrets exist and that resources exist, but they can't actually interact with them. They can't view the secret information. They can't view any real detailed information, can't rotate API keys or do anything that an auditor shouldn't be able to do other than just be able to see and audit. Now, the cool thing about my groups policy, if we were to take a look at that real quick, you'll notice that I have an annotation here called editable true. And what this allows me to do is manage the members directly in the user interface. It adds this manage column here and this remove button that I can just start to remove members. So rather than having to come back here, create a delete policy to delete a record and then recreate the group and re-grant all of the members that I do want to be a member of that group and go through that process, by adding this annotation onto any group that's created, editable true, I can now just remove members as I need to from within the UI. A little bit easier user experience there. I should be able to do the same on the Conjur admins as well. Let me see. Yeah, so I can remove the admin here. As I add more members, obviously, I'll be able to remove them as well, depending on if people are, leaving the company or whatever the case may be. Maybe they change teams and they're no longer a part of a single, maybe they're not a part of Dev Team 1, they're a part of Dev Team 2 now, so their group memberships need to change. Just an easy way of being able to manage that. You could also add a member here. So if I wanted to add a user, I could add like Mark, but Mark's going to be an auditor. I don't want to actually do that. I don't think many people know that this exists in Conjur as an easy way of being able to deal with membership in our groups. But just want to say, it's out there, it's doable. Make it happen, Captain. Just got to add that annotation. So a couple cool features there that people don't typically use. All right, back to what we were doing though. We need to go back to the README. So next we're going to do our grants for our users. So this is going to take the 3 users that we created and add them to the 2 groups that we have. Mark should go into the auditors group, and then Darren and I should go into the admins group. And so we're going to run the same command. This time we're going to do grants / grants user. I don't know what the heck happened there. Let me fix that. So grants / grants _ user. And there we go. We created those rules. We can check it out now in the Conjur UI. So we have our groups here, Conjur admins. Darren and Joe, our admins now. Good job. All right, Darren, go ham. And then for our auditors group, it should just have Mark. Boom. So admin's going to be a member of all of these groups, which is fine. But that's just because admin owns the policy that created this, right? The root policy was loaded by my admin account. Admin becomes the owner. So admin is just inherently a member too. Just like a safe owner, right? If you create a safe in EPV, back over here, whoever creates the safe, if it's me, I'm going to get all permissions on that particular safe. So like if we take a look at the cybr-cli safe that I created and we take a look at the members, I do separately add the vault admins to this here and permission them completely, but I'm the first person that has access because I'm the safe member or the safe owner, and you can't change this. So same idea in Conjur, right? Let's go back to accounts just for funsies. All right, so we're loading our policies here. Go back to the README so I know what to do next. So now we're gonna load up just the main root policy. And what's in the root policy, if we were to take a look, is I'm just defining my initial policy branches. So we're gonna have one for CI, CD, for cloud, And then for projects, and this is going to be, the projects one is mainly for any project that doesn't fall under the other three categories. It could be commercial off the shelf. It could be something in-house that was built. Anything like that that needs access to secrets would go under projects. So for example, the cybr-cli, right? The cybr-cli needed access to a couple secrets. So that will end up falling under a project's policy in one way or another. If it's not just a global projects policy like this one on the root, it would be a projects within the Jenkins namespace, which we'll end up getting to here in the 12th step. So for this one, we're just going to load up root into root. So, oh my gosh. So we're going to remove all of this and just do into the branch root, the file root.yaml. And so it's created those policies. It's kind of just created the framework of those policies. So we can take a look in policies and see that they're all there. And they should all branch up to root. So if we were to take a look at like CD. Yeah. So CDs here, no members, no privileges held, no group memberships, nothing. Basically, we're going to use this just to nest a bunch of policies into that branch. So if we take a look at the README now, we have next, we're going to work on the CD branch, and we're going to start to load up our Ansible stuff. So same command again. This time it's going to be into the CD branch, and our file is going to be CD Ansible. And so this should create, our first policy error. Let's see what it says. Validation failed, did not find expected key. Line 11, so we're going to want to take a look at that. Did not find expected key while parsing a block mapping in line 11. All right, let's take a look at line 11 and see what's up then. I'm going to use the fat client for this so I can keep that README up, and we'll take a look. We were in this file, line 11, ID admins. It's a group. I see why. It's the tabbing. So see how this is in line with the body, but this one is nested. We need to bump that in. So we're going to create the group admins. This will create it to be, what will the group name be? So it'll be CD Ansible admins, like that. And so that's what we'll end up adding people into. Oh snap, Flux Yeah is hosting this stream with some viewers. Thanks, Flux Yeah. Appreciate that host. We're just gonna, I don't see what the change could be, honestly. I'm just gonna say the group name here. So it'd be CD Ansible admins. And then what we'll do down here is, what we're doing here is we're granting our Conjur admins group, right? Darren, myself, the admin, into that group. So we'll become members of Ansible admins. And then, for whatever reason, if you want to add on specific users or teams, you can add different groups. Like later on, after we create the group, you could do the CD Ansible ops team 1 group, right? And then they can start to be an admin, but we don't want ops teams to be admins at all. Just showing you what's possible here. So we'll save this. We'll need to load this. What other changes do I have here? Let's get rid of these changes. This is all local stuff. Oh, okay. It sees, all right. Cancel that. Can I just get rid of this? How do I get rid of this? All right, whatever. We'll just minimize it for now because it's confusing me, and I don't know why that's popping up. Do I have that still open? No. Anyways. So we just have Ansible here. We're going to say fixed spacing. Seems simple enough. Load it right onto master because I don't care. And then it should update over here. All right, so it's pushed. And now we'll need to get pull. All right, and let's see if that was the issue. Hopefully it is. All right, it was. So it was just the tabbing there. My bad. So it created the Ansible information now. So if we go back to our Conjur UI, refresh, you can see we have a group added here. and it is our CD Ansible admins. Look at that. And it was loaded through the CD Ansible policy. So we're rocking and rolling here. We don't have any members yet. Oh, we do have the Conjur admins member. Remember, I granted that access. So all of our Conjur admins will always be an admin of Ansible at the end of the day. And then we can add on individual users or host identities depending on what automation we have running that might be doing automated policy loads, or if we have some users that are going to temporarily own a portion of this, we can add them in here for a time to live. But for now, we're good with just Conjur admins. I'm not trying to get crazy here. I'm just a little old me trying to show some demos and stuff like that, not trying to make big changes in an enterprise. So we'll keep it like that. So cool, we're rocking and rolling with this, with the policy loads. Let's see what's next up on our list. We've got our ops teams we need to build out now. So I will be getting API keys for this, but remember, you can save all you want. You won't get access to my DApp in AWS, and you also won't know the API key for long, because once this stream ends, I'll be rotating them all. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and we're going to load into now Ansible, because we're basically going to branch off of the Ansible policy we just created. And we're going to create the file, or we're going to load up the ops team 1 file first. Ops team 1. Policy Ansible, not found in account CyberArk demo. Do I need to define that on the root policy for it to happen like this? This may have been an oversight on my part. Let me think. CD Ansible, Ops Team 1, branch Ansible. Let's go to the Conjur UI, go to policies. Oh, it's CD/Ansible that I need to call it. Yeah, let's give that one a shot. All right, let's try this again, but we'll call it CD/Ansible, and then I may need to update my README. No, that's not it. CD Ansible, wait, group CD Ansible admins not found in a, what is going, oh, I see. Okay, so I know what it's complaining about. I know what it's complaining. It's complaining about the owner of the policy. So if we take a look at our Ops Team 1 policy, I add the group Ansible admins, but when I did this, I assumed that because I'm loading it into the Ansible branch, that it's going to just automatically know where this group is, but I need to define it with CD in front, is basically what that error is telling me. So I have to give it the full path from the root branch to the group. So CD Ansible admins, I think. Maybe it'll find it from there. Let's give this a shot. If this doesn't work, then I may need to add a / to the front so that it knows to look from the root for the group, because the group isn't defined in this policy or anything that it understands. We'll need to change this over here too, so we'll just do that now. We're gonna actually have to change this on a lot of these policies. We're gonna have to change it here. We're gonna have to change it here. We're going to have to change it in the actions, CI. We're going to have to change it in onboarding. Oh, I haven't done that one yet. Good. Probably a good thing. I'm going to have to change it in, I think that's it. Yeah. I don't know why I don't have AWS. Oh, wait, that's the AWS one. I need to look at EC2. Yep. So this will be cloud, like that. Lambda will be cloud. And then compute is going to be cloud. Fun times, huh, guys? Function is going to be cloud. And then that should be it. Everything else is loaded into root. All these grants and these root files here. So that should be everything. We'll save them all down. Can I just right-click Save All? Oh, darn. Oh, close saved. There we go. Right? Oh, no, that'll keep these up. Whatever. Save all. Boom, boom, boom. All right. So all my changes are here now. Let me push these. Added prefix to owner group names. Push that. commit it first, right? That's committing it. Now down here, we have to click to push it to the remote repository. We need to git pull over here to get it down. Now let's try that same command again. And I think that the first error said that it didn't know policy Ansible not found in account CyberArk demo. Yeah, so it should be cd/Ansible. Hopefully this works. Fingers crossed. Who thinks it'll work? I think it'll work. I hope it works. I don't want to have to edit all those files again. Wow! No. Wait. Group CD Ansible admins not found? What the heck is going on here? Oh, because it's going off of the CD Ansible, so maybe it just needs to be group admins? Right? Because it looks like it's prefacing this itself. Oh gosh. All right, I'm just going to change the ops team 1 this time and see if maybe just group admins works because we're loading this into the CD Ansible branch. Hiya. All right. Okay. Removed prefix. Maybe that'll work? Oh, let's find out. All right, let's push that. Git pull. Get our updated ops team 1 and let's try loading this bad boy again. Hey, there we go. We figured it out. Now I got to change all those files backwards, right? I changed them all wrong. Let me save this API key real quick. Always remember, save your API keys. I mean, you can still rotate them if you're an admin, but just a good practice to save these. I'll save this one here. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so let's change the rest of our files now. Get out of here, ops team 1. We don't need you anymore. We need this to be admins because we're going to load into that branch. We need this to be admins. We're going to load into that branch. This we need to be admins. This we also need to be admins. This is a little bit easier of a change than the last one. This we need to be, guess what? Admins. Lambda, we need that to be admins? Sure. All right, compute is going to be admins. This makes it easy. Admins again. Boom. And I think that's it. So we can save all. And then I want to just do one more update so that I don't have to do it elsewhere. On the README, we're going to load in here. We're going to do cd dash, cd dash, CI dash, and I'm just going to copy that because we got a lot of these. Boom, 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 boom. That's actually, we're not going to load that one today. We'll do that another time. Cloud is going to be cloud / cloud / save, and we can commit. All right. Fixed branches and owners. There we go. Push and pull. Beep bop boop. All right. So we got everything updated. Let's go back to our README now and continue down with our loads. All right, so we were at Ops Team 1, so obviously we got to do Ops Team 2. We got to show that segregation of duties in the lab, right? So Ops Team 1 in Ansible, if you were one, I run South Park third graders, right? So the South Park kids are in my demo environment, in my lab. So Ops Team 1 is Butters, and then Ops Team 2 is Professor Chaos, his alter ego, and then the auditor throughout everything is Kenny, because everybody just wants to kill the auditors anyways. They're always getting in our hair and stuff. So that's why I made an auditors group for Conjur to just let them self-service audit, right? They don't need me. They don't need screenshots from me. Log in and figure it out for yourself. So that's good. We've got another API key I need to save before I forget. So we'll copy this. If you're just joining the stream, don't bother trying to use these API keys. They are not going to last long, and you do not have access to my instance of Conjur to even be able to utilize them. So have fun. Meanwhile, we are now going to add grants to the CD branch. So let's see what that actually is going to do here. Grants for CD Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so this is basically adding grants for our for my synchronizer to so these secrets are synchronized down from core paths. And these are safes that I don't believe exist yet, because I was like, oh, I'll just create them at the time I need to create them and move the accounts over, guy. And of course I didn't do that. So now this is my chance to shine, I guess. So I need to create a new LOB user called CD. And I need to create a new safe called this. And I need to create one for ops2 as well. So let me save that safe name, and then we'll come into, oh, I got it open over here. Let's see if my session is still active. Is it? Is it? Hey, all right. I didn't have to reconnect. All right. So taking a look at safes that I have right now, all of my AWS access keys are split between CI and CD, but I never got as granular as splitting it between ops teams and dev teams. And so my hopes and dreams were that I could synchronize CI over to Conjur and have it basically split based on the secret that's coming over. Unfortunately, the idea of object level access control doesn't exist over there, and also isn't supported by our Vault Conjur synchronizer. So I have to split the safes a little bit more. So I'm gonna just create the safes initially that I want. So this one is going to be for my ops team 1 key pairs. And I always like to make a description that defines my naming convention. So in this case, it's development environment, continuous delivery or deployment, whichever you want to call it. It's going to be for ops team 1 in AWS, and it's going to be the SSH key pairs for connecting two EC2 instances, right? I'm going to save the last 5 account versions. If I were to save account versions from the last 7 days, if I rotated it, 7 days later, that version's gone. I want to keep the versions in case something happens for any reason. Mr. Heartstomper out there trolling me, saying a real dev would automate the safe creation. That is true, and I have, but I just don't feel like dealing with it right now. It's all written in PowerShell for customers, and PowerShell isn't an easy thing to run on Mac. So when I finally get around to having nothing to do on this stream one Tuesday in the future, we'll build it out. It's something that I've built out before. It's actually out on GitHub if you guys want to take a look at it. I've neglected it, so who knows if it works still or not, but it's called the CyberArk Safe Factory, and it's written in PowerShell. And I did a nice little tour where I did a webinar and stuff like that with it back before the pandemic, right, when we were allowed to travel and see people in person. And there's also an On the Front Lines webinar that you can view of that. But yeah, so it's just a single PowerShell file here, and it creates safes for you. It will create the safe that you give it after it asks you a couple of questions and stuff, and then it takes predefined access control lists for admin, auditors, and users, and so it will populate. It will add the PAS safe member based on a naming convention that you can define from Active Directory over to here. There is a version of this where it's extended to actually create those Active Directory accounts and was part of a Impact 2019, I believe. No, it wasn't Impact 2019. That's when the pandemic happened, huh? Wasn't that in 2019? I'm so lost. Maybe it was Impact 2018. I don't know. Let's see. It's called Wacko. It's a Windows account creation and onboarding tool. And let me see. What was this on? Do I say? I don't think I say in here which it is. It was either Impact 20. It was the Impact before the pandemic. So, oh, looks like it was 2019. I guess it was 2019. Wow. How time flies. But yeah, so in this one, we're actually interacting with Active Directory using the imported module for Active Directory. And what we're doing is just basically walking through, and you answer questions. It'll create the Active Directory group, security groups, create the safe, permission those groups onto the safe, and all that jazz. It kind of extends it to include the Active Directory portion as well. So you can use this as a template. I haven't ran it since back in 2019, so I don't know if it still works or not. I'd assume so. I mean, nothing's really changed that drastically to where it wouldn't. The only thing that I could think of is PSPAS, the module that we use throughout here, has been updated, but I don't think that the real core way of how it works has changed at all. So, you know, if this is of interest to somebody, then you can do it. The authentication is pretty wild the way that we do it, because we have the user, since it's a self-service script that it was 2019. Okay, thanks Heartstomper. Randy was teaching the REST API in training. James Creamer and I presented this on stage in a breakout session, along with other automated onboarding techniques that could be utilized. I think that was also the year that we said stop using cybr-cli, and we had a nice little tombstone for cybr-cli in the slide deck. So stop using cybr-cli already. Gosh, guys, I know it can do some more things and stuff, but come on. Can't get PM to fix or add anything to the API if you're just circumventing the API and using cybr-cli instead. That doesn't solve our problems here. So, but the way the authentication method was pretty cool, because the user needs to authenticate as themselves. Once they do that, and we go ahead and create a new PAS session for them, we're going to basically use their username and passwords access in order to get a PAS account using the REST API. We're not using the central credential provider here. We're using the get PAS account REST API command that PS Pete has here to get the password and everything. And then we're creating that into a secure string and closing it out. So the whole idea here is, if this user isn't permission to grab this secret, then guess what? They shouldn't be running this script. But if they do have permission to get this secret, then we can go ahead and use that secret that they fetched in order to then create a new PAS session for the management tasks. So the user isn't provisioned with the ability to add safes, the ability to do stuff in Active Directory necessarily. It's a service account that we're just checking that they have the access to fetch. And if they do, we'll continue on and log in as that account to the PAS REST API to be able to onboard accounts, create safes, and all of that stuff. So a pretty cool little script with some cool ideas and some cool ASCII art as well. You know, if you're into ASCII art, go for it. Anyways, sorry, I know I diverged there. We've got about 20 minutes left. So for this safe, we're going to create it like this, and then I'm gonna, just in case I copied anything to my clipboard, copy this. So we'll save that. I have groups that I need to immediately apply, one of which is P-, my production CyberArk vault admins, get all access, and then I'm gonna stop there. The only other user that I'm probably going to add to this is my LOB user, but I haven't even created those yet. So maybe next Tuesday or on Friday when I do my lab work, I'll stream again and show you how I can install and configure an additional Vault Conjur synchronizer in order to be able to synchronize to my other Conjur instance. I kind of want to keep it side by side, this new one and the old one, because the old one still has some things that are tied to it that I'm not ready to transition to my new Conjur instance yet. So that should be a good little start there. We can add another safe, and this one will be for Ops Team 2. I should have just copied the freaking description, honestly, but whatever. It ain't that bad. Continuous deployment, Ops Team 2, AWS, SSH key pairs. Save the 5 versions, save that. And so I've got both of these safes created now. Let me permission my Vault admins group from, it's actually out in Active Directory, but when you apply the mapping for Vault admins through the LDAP integration, it's also searchable through the Vault as well. So you can just keep it searching in the Vault if you want to. I'm going to, I gotta select it, otherwise it'll yell at me that I didn't select anything. Check mark everything. Add, close. There we go. All right, so I've got both of those safes that I'm going to need for Ansible setup. I do already have these accounts within my my core PAS. So if we go back to accounts and we just search for Ops Team, they both should come up. Oh, no, maybe not. What are they in? AWS. Let's just search for that. All right, so here they are here. I can tell the two Ansible ones because they're in the CD safe right now. So let's see. I'm going to want to move these. I don't know if I can move from here. I cannot, so I need to switch to the classic interface for this. And this one is Ops Team 1, so we're going to move that to the Ops Team 1 safe. Target safe is going to be Ops 1. Oh wait, this is access keys. We want key pairs. Hold the phone. Do I even have key pairs for this? I do. Oh gosh, do I need to create key pairs now? I do. Okay, let's create some AWS key pairs and then we'll onboard them directly into here. I'm going to do this on a separate screen so that I don't have to pause and go to an intermission for any secrets. So if you're not familiar with how to create new key pairs in AWS, don't worry about it. You can always Google it. I don't think it's relevant for this stream. All right, so I'm in EC2 just to kind of pair it what I'm doing. I'm going to go to key pairs and I'm going to create a key pair. I'm going to call it Ops Team 1. It's going to be RSA PEM. Create the key pair. And I'm going to create a second key pair now. And this one's going to be called Ops Team 2. And we're going to create that. And so for Ops Team 1, I want to... Oh, I have to import a key pair for this. Very, very interesting. All right, how do I want to do this? Let's go to... I'm going to just pull up Amazon's documentation and do the way they say it. Create a key pair. Oh, I can use EC2? I created the key pair. I gave it a name. I gave it the key pair type. I gave it the private key format. I created the key pair. Oh, I have to create my own key pair and then upload it. Wait, the private key file is automatically downloaded by your browser? Oh, there it is. Snap, it did. It downloaded right in Firefox. Holy crap, I did not expect that. I didn't even see that happen. It was so incognito. All right, cool. So then I've got that information over here that I can just load up. So from here, I will do, where'd it go into? Probably downloads would be my guess, but I want to move it. I want to move it from downloads to, and this should be ops team 1.pem. I want to move it to my OneDrive CyberArk software certificates. And then I want to do the same for ops team 2. I'm going to try and do this without disclosing any secret information. See if I can do that. All right, so now I want to change directories into there just to make it a little bit easier on myself. And then I want to show my tool belt. And I want to use this command here, this OpenSSL one. It's going to be RSA though. It's not an X509 certificate, it is an RSA certificate, and I'm going to inspect it, just one of them real quick, just to double check and make sure that everything is hunky-dory. Yeah, looking good. Yeah, 2048 private key. Okay, cool. All right, so we're going to cat ops team 1 here, and we're going to pipe to pb copy, which will just, it won't actually cat out. It'll just go straight onto my clipboard. And then hopefully, hopes and dreams are that I can add this then to, oh shoot. No, I can't do that. I need to base64 encode it. Because it has new lines and such, I can't just paste it directly into a whatchamacallit. I can't just paste it into a password field in Core PAS. I have to base64 encode it. So we'll base64 encode it, we'll pp copy it, and that should keep it from parroting back. And so now I can come here, add an account. We're going to add this as an application. No, not an application. I call it core paths, Rob, because I am an old fogey, apparently. And they keep changing the name so much I can't keep up. So I'm just going to stick to one, and eventually we'll turn the corner and come back to core paths, hopefully. But I will make it a concerted effort to call it PAM going forward, which was the original name, right? I think it was PIM, then PAM, then PAS. And now we're back to PAM again. It was Conjur, it was DAP, it's now Conjur again. EPV, right? Yeah, EPV was another one. So, I mean, just so many names out there. I think everybody understands what I'm talking about when I say PAS compared to Conjur. All right, so I don't want to make it actually an application. I want it to be a website. Yes, a generic web app, just because it's easier on me to deal with these certificates in that fashion. Oh, no, wait, this is an SSH key. I can use the Nix. Yeah, there we go. Okay. And then Unix via SSH keys. And we'll load this into our ops1 key pairs. The address is going to be, oh, shoot. I don't think this really matters, does it? Let me duplicate this and see what I did before. I hope that doesn't kick out this session here. It better be concurrent. Accounts. Key pair. All right. This one, no. I want to do this one. Doesn't look like I can change any of them. Oh, I disabled automatic management. Okay. So it looks like I'm using Unix via SSH keys, and then for the address, I'm just giving it a name. Okay. Works for me. Works for me. All right, so we'll call this PAS. The username is ops team 1. We're going to, oh, I can just select the file. Shoot, I'll just do that then. I didn't even need to base64 encode it or anything. That was for the client certificates I was doing last night. That's where I was base64 encoding things. Joe Strickland hooked me up with that idea. So I was struggling, man. All right, ops team 1. Don't want to customize the name. Don't want to comment. Don't want to give any of this information. We'll give it a shot with automatic password management, but it doesn't know what address to go to. Actually, we're not. We're going to turn this off. I'm not even going to give a reason. Add. Okay. So that should have been added. Newly added. Yep, right there. Okay. And we'll do that again into the other safe for ops team 2. Unix via, nope, back. Unix via SSH keys, I don't care. Ops team 2, we'll do the address again. Username ops team 2. Browse for our file here. Nothing, turn off, add. Bada bing, bada boom. All right. So we've got everything added there. Now we're good to go. So we're going to pause here. I have a call upcoming at 1 o'clock Eastern time. So I'm going to have to end the stream here. But we're at a good stopping point, I think. So next time we'll pick up and we'll build out the synchronizer. We'll create 2 lines of business or LOB users, one for CD, one for CI, so we can keep those separated. We'll apply the LOB for CD to those 2 safes that contain the key pair for Ansible. And then we'll continue building out the new refreshed lab for me. So I'll try and keep most of the work that I do on this, barring any needs for an ASAP demo of a certain thing that maybe I need to configure out of band and can't necessarily stream. But for now, we'll continue this adventure probably on Friday, I'd imagine. I'll have to take a look at my schedule. But as long as you click the follow button and make sure that notifications are turned on, you'll get notified through the Twitch app or through email, or you can just follow me on Twitter at Joe_Garcia, and I will announce when I'm going live there as well. So I appreciate everybody hanging out today. With that, until next time, stay secure. Bye, everybody.